Welcome back to Moving to New Zealand, Eagles to Kiwis. This episode is a little bit different than what I have been posting so far. First of all, it was recorded on my MacBook while I was sitting in a car on a Zoom call. So it's a Zoom recording rather than being in the university studio with all of the high tech sound equipment in good quality. So I apologize. The quality is not going to be what you are used to. Second, I have been interviewing Americans who have moved to New Zealand, but in this episode, I am interviewing a New Zealander, a Kiwi, who moved to America and he would never move back to New Zealand. So just giving that perspective. And I will let the pre recording introduce who that guest is. I do already know him, and at one point I went way off topic and started talking about my new TikTok page that I made for this podcast to try to drive listeners to the podcast. Yeah, I had a little ADD moment there a couple times, but I hope you enjoy. I have a special guest here, and I've already broken the rules of my podcast, which was to only interview Americans who have moved to New Zealand. But here we are.
I'm an American.
You are an American and you have lived in New Zealand, so I mean, you kind of half fit the bill. So we are talking to Dave.
What do you mean half fit the bill? I'm the total bill. I
Mhm.
did more to become an American than you did.
I've become a Kiwi, kind of, actually, not fully.
You
I mean,
dabble.
fully completed that task. It
You're
is kind of
dabbling.
funny because a lot of people moving here from America are complaining about all the medical stuff they have to go through, and proving the relationship has been a real challenge for a lot of people, just really strict requirements. And was it hard for you to prove the relationship, or did Melissa just do it all?
I don't think we needed to. I
Yeah,
mean, you've got to remember when I immigrated, it was in 2004-ish. And I don't remember that I had to at all.
I don't think Kiwis were faking relationships to come to America back then. And I don't know if things have just changed over time, but the New Zealand government is very strict about proving the relationship right now. That's for sure. And
Yeah, because New Zealand's such a jewel.
okay, Dave, where are you
Yeah, but
from?
I'm from Christchurch.
Where do you currently live?
I live in New Hampshire. You and I just swapped places, really, didn't we, Ashley?
We did. Yeah. How long?
Do you want to do you want to do full disclosure here and that we're related twice? Do you want to talk about that or
I know
just keep
you
cruising on by?
really love telling that story, so I'm going to allow you to tell that.
Okay. Now?
Yeah, if you want to say how I'm related to you twice, yeah. Oh, but for people who have been listening and know the story of me coming to New Zealand 20 years ago, and I wanted to go to Australia, that's where I thought I was going to go. And then I always tell people there's this guy that was dating my cousin, and he said, you should go to New Zealand. You should go to Christchurch because that's where my family is. And so I came to New Zealand. But then when I arrived here and looked at a map, I was like, oh, that's where I am. um, Oh, and on my first day in New Zealand, I went and found Suckling Shoe, your dad's shoe store on Colombo Street in Christchurch. And I went and found him and I walked in the store. I'm like, hi, I'm here in New Zealand now. And a professor of mine, I was just telling him about Suckling Shoes, and he said, oh, what a horrible name for a store.
Well,
So,
he didn't know what it actually meant. I mean,
oh, don't you
and
worry.
I'm not putting
I sent him a
the
whole email
suckling name on a
yesterday
person.
with links and history and things about
Yeah,
your dad. Yes, I said it might be a weird name, but it has very rich history in Christchurch. So learn up.
I think I was the fourth generation to work in the shoe business when I was at Canterbury University. It was my great great grandfather that started the store, started the factory in Christchurch, and then it was my father's father, my grandfather, that started the shoe store. So there's a long lineage of shoes and suckling shoes in Christchurch. In fact, you've seen the museum piece with the suckling shoe store in the
Yeah.
museum in that old part. So long history.
And your grandpa's name was Len, and now I have a Lennox.
Yeah, he was Leonard,
Yeah, but
and
in this
Dad is
article I
Leonard
read
John.
yesterday, it called him Len, Len. Yeah. So it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah. He never went by Leonard. He went by Len.
okay, so
But
then
Leonard
how do you know me?
Corduroy Hunter. Pardon me.
So how do you know me? How do you
So
related to me
how
twice?
I met you when I started dating your cousin, and I was working at Ragged Mountain,
Mm-hmm.
and you and I would go and hang out together when I'd come down to Boston, usually right around this time of the year, actually. It was Patriot Monday. For those people that don't know, that's a big celebration in Boston, Patriots Day, where the Boston Marathon happens, and there's always a Red Sox game, and you and I would go and meet up afterwards. I'd always get tickets to that, and we'd go and meet up, and we'd go and wander around Boston, and we had some good times. It was
Marathon
great.
Monday is my
Marathon
was
Monday.
when I lived there. Marathon Monday, my favorite day of Boston because yeah, all of just the city morale and really proud of being from Boston and so many sports events.
I think you and I hung out on one of the most legendary ones I did, and we did Red Sox Yankees in the morning. That was a 10 o'clock thing. And then we watched the marathon, and you were part of that. I met you after the game. Then we watched the marathon, and then I scalped tickets later that night to Game 7 of the playoff in the Stanley Cup with the Bruins.
Oh, that's right.
So
There was like a
we did the
triple header
three
sports
sports.
day.
It was crazy. Like that was Boston on fire. And I was really honored to be part of that. And I'll never forget that day of sporting history in Boston because it was history, between the Red Sox Yankees, which is the hugest rivalry. And in New Zealand, you'd sort of equate that to Canterbury, Auckland playing rugby.
What
Um,
year do you think that was? 2003? 2?
Three? Yeah, I think it was 2003.
Hmm.
Yeah, because it wasn't the year that I stayed there. It was the year before. I think 2003, 2004, I'm guessing. And yeah, and we stayed there for the whole day. It was out of control. And I even went and had a beer at Cheers just to have a total Boston day.
So you became an illegal immigrant in America in 2003?
Legal, not illegal. I never really overstayed anything. I was on a J1 visa, oh sorry, H2B visa and then a J1 visa. So I was on working visas working at ski resorts.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's good. You didn't overstay your visit. Um, and so now you've just been there ever since,
Yes.
pretty much. And then you came back to New Zealand in 2008 for your sister's wedding. And then you
Yep.
hadn't been
But I
back, right?
before that I got married to I married your cousin in 2004
Yes.
and yeah, and my family came over, my brother, my sister, my father, my uncle, and a smattering of cousins in 2004, and we got married, and you met my twin brother, who
Hmm.
you are now married to.
Yeah.
So we're related twice, right?
Hmm.
We're cousins by marriage, and also you're my sister-in-law.
So when you introduced me to your brother at your wedding, were you expecting anything to come about that?
I don't remember. I was hellaciously hungover from Tuesday, and
Oh.
I don't like the wedding was just. I just wanted it to be over with. I was still hungover from Tuesday.
Oh, okay. Well, I you did introduce me to him and after the ceremony and I shook his hand and he was like all like, like antsy and stuff. And he's like, "Dave, can I take off this penguin coat? I'm so hot. I'm sweating." Um, and he wanted to take off his like suit jacket and stuff. And I was like, "What a weirdo." And then I
So
really
every shot,
didn't.
every drink that was bought for me at the wedding, I gave to my brother.
Oh, great. So that was actually in the early part of the night. And then I didn't really talk to him the rest of your wedding. And then when I came to New Zealand 9 months later, that's when I talked to him again when I went to dinner at your dad's house. And he took me back to university that night. And I still thought he was a weirdo. I mean, I think I don't even think I ever stopped thinking he was a weirdo. It was just
The
entertaining.
total nutcase. He's just a total nutcase. But that's okay because we all are as well. But so are you in your own way. We're all a little bit nutcasey.
Yeah, I think he's calmed down a little bit. But so that's how we're here. But you came back to New Zealand this year, no, last year, 2024, after you'd been gone for
Last year.
16 years.
I think it was, yeah, I think you're right around 15 and a half years. But yeah, we came back in New Zealand spring of 2003. So just a little over a year ago.
Oh yeah. So had it changed in your opinion since you had seen it last?
Oh, 100%. Everything was different.
Yeah. Like more built. Oh, because I guess you hadn't seen Christchurch. Oh no, you had seen Christchurch since the earthquake. Oh no, you hadn't.
No, I
No.
hadn't had,
So
I
you
was
saw.
very nervous about going back to Christchurch after the earthquake. I lost I lost a school friend in it. And obviously the family business was gone.
Hmm.
One minute it was there, and do you want to talk about that a little bit? Because it was weird being here while that was going on. We were
Yeah.
getting no images, nothing out of Christchurch. It was just a total, everything was sort of locked up. And one of the first images I saw out of Christchurch was
Oh,
the shoe store. And I know you've seen the picture, Ashley, that the
yeah.
shoe store, the whole front of it was gone. And when I was looking at Dad's office, and there's a big pile of rubble outside, and I was thinking that Dad may be under that,
Mhm.
not
Oh,
knowing for
you
probably
hadn't
about
talked to him yet?
4 hours. No, probably for about 4 hours, we didn't know
Uh,
what was going on and where he was at. So for 4 hours, we were a little unsure as to Dad's well-being.
oh, wow. I don't remember that part so much. I feel like Andrew was well, he was definitely working away on the road. And I was very pregnant, and I didn't remember having to wait to find out. But yeah, that's crazy. And then that
Yeah,
was it. The shoes. He was fine. But the store was never again.
no, it never reopened, which is a sad way to end a lineage like that. I think Dad was ready to retire anyway, and it just wasn't worth reopening. And obviously, you know what he did. He did restart and put his efforts into getting restart going in Christchurch.
Yeah, I sent that to my professor as well. And actually, one of my MBA colleagues interviewed John about Restart for an innovation project. So that was
Yeah,
going to be like,
I'm sure that was an interesting interview with Dad about that because he really put a lot on the line, and he believed that. And I don't want to speak for him, but he had a solemn belief that if they didn't get something going in the center city, that they would never have the center city CBD, which was always an important part of Christchurch,
oh, for sure.
especially growing up as a kid in Christchurch was the city, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I go in all the time. Um, do I don't know if you've been listening to the podcast so far, but I have ever since the first episode been asking people about food because you wanted to know what Americans thought about the food here. And I was wondering if you want to tell me your favorite Kiwi foods that you miss living in America. Like what is the stuff you miss?
No, it's not just the food, but the experience. And if I explain that more, it'll make more sense. Like I really miss, and this is a family thing as well. I really kind of miss the Friday night fish and chips, where we'd all be at home on Friday night, and mum or dad, when they're coming home, would pick up a big parcel of fish and chips, and
Yeah.
you'd unwrap it, and you've eaten with me and my brother, and it was more like filling a trough than it was unwrapping a parcel of food. And Melissa talks very fondly about this the first time she met Andrew that we had fish and chips. And she was actually scared to take anything in case, like, we were guarding our food and stuff, which is not true at all. It's bullshit. But she speaks very fondly of that. And and that you're all eating together off the same thing, and fish and chips are good. Don't get me wrong, I really like it, but it was more the sort of around the thing eating, and you've eaten with me and Andrew. It's kind of competitive.
Well,
Um,
it does come in that like wrapped. I think it used to be newspaper, but now
yeah,
they use like
the
Right.
parcel.
Yeah. And they wrap it all up and then you open it out on a table and I'll just kind of like share the pieces. Yeah. So the delivery of it is definitely unique to New Zealand, I think.
Oh, I completely agree. And the only thing that's like that here uh, would be getting a pizza, like a pizza in a box, and you open the box and the
Yeah.
pizza takes a slice. And it's not the same though. I mean, it's definitely not. And the seafood in New Zealand, I miss that, the freshness. And I remember it being incredibly cheap. Like
Oh,
fish and chips in New Zealand when I was there was like $1. And you go up and your order would be something along the lines of this. I have two fish and one chips, please. I can feel my accent coming back even saying that. Two fish and one chips. And that'll be $3 because everything was like $1.
yeah. It's not like that now. I think fish and
No,
chips family of four is like $70.
right. And but for us, it was like $15 when I was
You know,
younger. Like,
they send a lot of the fish overseas, like the exports overseas. Um, but maybe with the new tariffs, we'll get to keep some of our good fish and meat here.
yeah, I don't think we're going to be getting much here. I don't think we're going to be eating trout out of the lakes. Um, Other things that I missed, like food wise, was obviously meat pies. You can't go far in New Zealand without eating a meat pie. And I'm always dumbfounded by American travelers around here
Wait,
that don't partake in a meat pie.
what's your favorite meat pie flavor?
Well, I think that's an unfair question.
Oh,
But I think you've got to have a red meat one and then probably a white meat one, right? I think that's fair.
well, I
So
don't
definitely,
like mine with like,
steak and cheese.
yeah, I don't like the steak and cheese. There's like lots of gravy in them and stuff, but I do like
Right.
chicken brie and cranberry. Like I like the bougie ones.
See, that's like not, you've got your gas station pie, your
Yeah.
basic like your kind of white bread pie, and then you've got your multigrain pie, your multigrain,
Yeah.
your fancy one, your bougie ones like you would go after.
Yeah.
But you can't go past the steak and cheese, and I'm getting quite hungry thinking about this. But also, and then there's always the chicken and whatever. But pies in New Zealand, I don't understand how it hasn't caught on here that someone hasn't mastered it. I mean, like you can buy a pie here from like remember at the Hangi,
Yeah,
and
I
we
used
should
to
talk
buy
about that
cases.
later.
I used to buy cases of that. By the way, because
But
I'm on the free version of Zoom, I think it cuts out at a half an hour. So if it does, we'll just do again.
okay, so the pies are great, but I'd like a bougie one as well. But the pies were just so much Kiwiana.
Mm,
That one hand, and I make them here for the family, and I'll make them for some people here, and they're just dumbfounded by it. It's great, and I don't know how someone here hasn't essentially captured the recipe. Well, not the recipe, but the whole thing about it. Having a pie warmer in a store and stuff,
I know.
because it's definitely a good lunch option.
That's what Andrew gets for lunch when he's on the road for work all day. He'll just run in and get a pie.
Right, it's easy, and then I also miss. I know I'm going on, but there's one last thing I really need to talk about, and that's the bakery stuff, like getting a filled roll,
Like a sausage
getting a filled
roll?
roll, and what's that?
Like a sausage roll?
No, a filled roll,
Oh, I don't even know what that is.
like a bread roll, and it's like filled with ham and like a slice of egg and beetroot and lettuce. That's nirvana.
I haven't
Like
seen
a
a
filled roll.
filled
Oh,
roll.
you got to go find one actually. Like when
I'm
when I
actually
when I
in
was back there
your neck
last week.
of the woods right now. Well, your old neck of the woods. I'm at Pioneer. Do you know what that is?
No.
It's like the public swimming pool, but they have courts here, so Annika has a volleyball
Oh
tournament.
yeah.
But it's I think I'm in Kashmir or I'm pretty close to it. Like
So
Barrington. I just
the whole
Barrington Mall.
bakery thing. Sorry.
Yeah, the Barrington Mall. They had a bakery. I went to get a coffee.
Oh, it's great. And just a good loaf of bread, a good like a
Yeah.
cheese Vienna was hard to beat. Like the bread in New Zealand is kick ass good. The
Hmm.
bread here is complete shit.
Well, we do eat Vogel. Andrew eats a lot of peanut butter toast. Like that is his staple diet. So he gets
Right.
the Vogels. The Well, they make a toast Vogels and a sandwich Vogels. So I think he gets the
Yeah,
standard.
it's the thickness. And everyone here will say the same thing. All the Kiwis over here will talk about vogels, and bread. So
Mm,
that'd be the main three things: fish and chips and takeaways like that. Um, Bakery stuff and meat pies. That's what I miss the most. And then all the stuff that you bring over for me when you're traveling, like Jaffas and
candy.
tomato sauce. Yeah,
Yeah, you like a lot of those lollies. And
yeah, because it's
the
growing up.
lollies we like here would be like the chocolate, I think, more than all the
Yep,
chewy
yep.
stuff we like. Like Jaffers are just teeth breakers, I think, for me.
No, you got to suck them until they crack, and then you go for them. I've still got bags of them here that you left. I always keep a bag here. It's weird. I can never run out of a Jaffa.
Oh, it's a sucking candy?
Sort of. You can crunch it, but
Oh,
now I'm getting hungry.
yeah. Um, yeah. I guess I need to explore more bakeries. I feel like I haven't had a lot of
Yeah,
those.
you do. Build roll. So one of the bakeries when we went back last year, in Wanaka was incredible, absolutely incredible. It's really good.
There's good stuff there.
So other things that really blew me away when I was in New Zealand, huge things that I noticed that were different was obviously the urban sprawl, like places that were suburbs out of the city were now part of the city, and that those gaps had been filled in, like
Oh, yeah.
Wollaston, out towards Kirwi, and that had all been filled in
Yeah.
where they were driving the country. Now was just more of the city. Um, and Wanaka was especially apparent for that. And there was one thing I really noticed as well, Ashley, that really shocked me was New Zealand wasn't the same New Zealand. And I wrote about this when I came back to America. You probably saw my post and stuff. And it was the favorite things that we did, the best public toilet, the best whatever. And then I wrote a little bit about how New Zealanders are different. And someone asked me, and I think it was it felt like everyone was a little bit less trusting, and
Mm,
there was a lot more tourists than I remember. Of course, I was doing a touristy trip, but I had been living in touristy places for the last 5 years of me being in New Zealand. Um, and there was a very much a sense of like rushing,
mm,
like you have to get the best seat at the best time at the best place for everything, even getting a coffee. Like I remember standing in a line for a coffee in Christchurch somewhere, and like normally you'd just be quite casual and chatty, but I felt like there was someone standing right behind me the whole time and
mm.
pushing me to do the next thing. It was very unrelaxed. And I remember also walking in Christchurch pre-earthquake, where people would smile and say hello when you're walking down Colombo Street, and there certainly wasn't any of that when we were back there. But that's with a lot of people. There's a lot more people
Well, it's a
living in
lot of
Christchurch now.
people, and it is such a melting pot of people from all
Yeah.
around the world. So you are mixing so many cultures and ethnicities and religions and backgrounds and all into this one place. So different cultures just have different way of interacting with people. And
Mhm.
so I'll tell you, my friend who's from Taiwan and he's here. We were in Akaroa one time and it was off season. So we were in Akaroa town and we were like the only ones in town that day. And we went into this gift store. And again, him, me, and my other friend were the only three people in the gift store. We're walking, looking at all this stuff. And we walked out and he goes, "Wow, that was so nice." I'm like, "Oh, what did you like there?" And he goes, "Oh, no, we could just take our time and browse and no one was bumping into us. And there weren't people just like in your way and like pushing you." And he said there was no store in Taiwan that he could ever go to where he could have that casual free experience. And that was a really, really good perspective for me to hear because I told him, like, well, a lot of Asians push me and kind of are pushy a lot. That's just, a thing. And he said, no, yes, that's because our countries are so overpopulated and things are so crowded and everything that's kind of a learned behavior. And so I don't know, so I've kind of thought about that a little bit more as well, that some people are just used to that um things being so crowded and crammed and rushing and winning and trying to get your stuff first. So,
And that was very much part of the tourism thing that I saw in New Zealand as we were doing certain tourist activities with the kids. Was
yeah.
like the first ones up the boat. pushing and arguing to be the first ones on the boat in Milford. I mean, the boat's going the same place, folks.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I know.
we are all going the same place. Let's calm down. But instead of me actually calming down, I got quite competitive.
Well, I mean, like drivers here constantly yell and swear at me. I mean, you probably are like, well, that's probably fair. Oh, I have a friend, he's a pilot, and he called me yesterday and he was driving and it's Friday afternoon traffic is the worst. Like everyone complains about the Friday Christchurch traffic. And he's on the phone with me and I had the kids in the car and so he's on Bluetooth and he's like, if happened this and this and you wanker, what the hell, where'd you learn how to drive? And he's screaming and the kids are in their car just laughing hysterically, like laughing, and he's just going, he's like, oh, this is why I'm always flying at this time of day, I'm never on the road with these idiots, like, oh my god, I can't believe this is how people drive out here. And my kids are like, does he know you are the person, like, you are the person that gets yelled at, like, does he know this about you?
He's swearing at you. But you've always been quite a crappy driver, just to be honest about it. I mean, like I've been a police officer in New Hampshire for coming up 15 years, and I've had a lot of people tell me about your driving over the years, including, and I know you mentioned this in the first podcast, including when you were here for Christmas, you dork.
Well, that's speeding. I don't think that's bad. That's just I can't be confined to road rules, but actually if there was a snowstorm or an ice storm, the control I have of the vehicle is very good. And I have a lot of close calls and I stop that. So I would say my skills, like, and whenever I do F1 racing or any of those car racing things, we used to do one for my work events in Boston. I would always win. I did it for Tristan's birthday party one year. I won. Like, I'm actually can control a car very well. I just don't fit into the lines of the road and the rules of the road.
I think it's self-control. I think it's more self-control. You may be able to control a car, but I don't think you have the self-control for it. And I'm just going to put myself on a pedestal here. I
Mhm.
am a I'm a driving instructor for the New Hampshire Police Academy, and I teach new recruits. So, I'm coming from a position of understanding here, and it's more about your self-control than it is about your driving skill,
Um,
if I may make that observation.
well, Andrew got pulled over the other day, and I think it might have been not having a seatbelt on, but the female Christchurch cop ended up saying, like, okay, well, I'm just going to give you a written warning. And he's like, but did you pull my record? And she goes, yeah, you've never had a speeding ticket. And he's like, well, I'm 53 years old. Like, can you say good job? Like, I'd like some positivity with this. And she's like, no, like, no. He wanted like a
What's
congratulations.
Andrew looking for? A mother?
Yeah, like he wanted like a congratulations for following the law, basically.
He got one. He didn't get a ticket. That was it.
Well, then in Akaroa, I was pulling out of the Foursquare there last weekend, and the kids were fighting in the car. I'm backing up a very small parking lot. The car's beeping at me. They're yelling and punching each other, and then I go to pull out, and there's a cop on a motorcycle, and he's like, I was pulling out as he comes. Yep, okay, go. And he takes up his helmet. He's like, "Are you forgetting something?" I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "Seatbelt." I'm like, "My kids were overstimulating me." He's like,
See, self-control. But no, I didn't turn into an aggro driver until I got here.
mm-hmm.
And I spend so much time driving now as my job, that I'm not aggro like at work, but I'm very not aggro, but I'm very, I wouldn't even say aggressive driver when I'm in my car, but like I definitely rule the interstate for sure. It's definitely a bit of a race.
Oh.
And the time on Waze is the time to beat. I'm always conscious about that, and I don't know why.
Um,
It's it's funny. Like driving in Boston when I first started here scared the stuffing out of me. Now it's second nature.
oh, yeah. You see, driving in Boston doesn't bother me, but driving in Christchurch annoys the shit out of me. It's very weird.
But driving New Zealand roads, especially like you take a drive from Christchurch to Wanaka, you've got to be a pretty good driver. Otherwise, you're going to end up going backwards. You've got to know how to take a corner.
Mm-hmm.
And my kids were over it. Like, you know how much driving we did. I mean, let's go about it. So where do we went? We Christchurch to Punakaiki in a day.
Mm-hmm.
That's a heck of a drive in itself with winding roads through the Alpine passes. And then what did we do? We did Punakaiki down to the glaciers. Oh, that was a beautiful day. And then the glaciers um Wanaka to Queenstown. It was lovely, lovely trip.
Yeah.
And all of those roads are quite full on roads. It's not like it's 93 that you can see, sorry, Interstate 93 that you can see 2 miles ahead of you and it's 4 lanes of traffic. These are tight winding roads that you've got to actually drive. And I think growing up in New Zealand, driving those roads makes you a pretty decent driver.
Yeah, that's true. That's probably true. Yeah, it's good practice. I mean, Andrew's a really good driver for the most part. Um,
When I went through the police academy the first time, I nailed every course. And I enjoyed it so much. I was actually hitting cones so that I could have another go. Because if you go through the cone package and you get under the time, you're like, that's it, good, you're done. So I'd actually go out there, and if I thought I was doing really well and but could do better, I'd actually hit a cone so that I could go through it again to try and beat my
oh
own time.
God. Okay. Well, I'm glad you.
Well,
Okay, so what else? What do you miss about living in New Zealand?
family for sure. That's an absolute given.
What? Wait, I didn't.
Family.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay.
Dad and you guys and
Yeah.
stuff. And the relationship and watching your kids with our kids. I love watching the cousins hang out, because that was a big part of me growing up was all of our cousins
Well, I
and
met one of your
and
cousins last week, and she said you guys all grew up like they'd come down here. Your mom used to take them to a church for tea at the Takaha church or something, somewhere in
yeah,
Canada. Yeah, and you guys used to just fly, like they'd fly from Auckland, you'd fly to Auckland, and kids would just get on a plane by themselves when they were like 4 years old.
yeah, we do unaccompanied minor. They put like a baggage tag on you with a high vis thing, and they'd have to the hostess or whatever, the steward, whatever, I don't know.
Yeah.
They would look after you and make sure you're seated, and then you got to give out the candy as you went to land. But yeah, we would spend tons of time with the cousins during a year.
Yeah.
And I miss that here a little bit, but that's more part of where we live in America. Like for your listeners, we live in very rural America. The town I live in is only 1,600 people. It's 20 minutes anywhere to go anywhere. A decent supermarket's half an hour away. So we live in very rural America. It's not
Well,
like we live in a city.
I made a TikTok to promote this podcast because I was going to do it in the Moving to New Zealand group, which has, like 100,000 people or something, but they won't let me. So that's a challenge I've had since like how do I reach the niche, the people who want to move here or thinking about moving here? How do I reach those people? But anyway, so some research said like TikTok, you can get all this access or views. And I did get 10,000 views on a video overnight, but about 80% about it is hate comments. And I knew I had to be a little bit controversial. And it was about the price of like, I was filling up my car yesterday and I posted how much it costs. And people like, go back to your own country if you don't like it. Well, your
So
country
let's
is hurting the world. And
let's look it up.
yeah,
So what's your TikTok name? Let's look it up.
it's moving to New Zealand podcast.
That's it? Okay.
Yeah. And so, oh, by the
Moving.
way, I didn't have TikTok at all until 2 days ago. So this world is blowing my mind.
There's tons of things here moving to New Zealand. I think this is yours. Yeah, here's yours.
It's like my podcast picture.
Does this look like oh, you can't see this?
Yeah, that's the one, the gas one. So people like mad because of I did my conversions completely right, but I used my mom paid $2.50 for a gallon of gas yesterday in America. Yes, that's her $2.50. She makes US dollars, she pays US dollars. I paid $9 and something, 9.76 per gallon of gas. So I converted the liters to gallon per gallon of gas yesterday And yes, that's New Zealand dollars, but I make New Zealand dollars. So, like, my logic to that is not flawed because you make New Zealand dollars, you spend New Zealand dollars. You make US dollars, you spend US dollars. Um, and so, but of course, I knew this was going to cause an issue. I knew it was. And because the research I read said you have to post something that evokes feelings, whether it's like anger, happiness, sadness, rage, whatever. That's how you get the engagement.
TikTok?
What?
When did you start your TikTok?
2 days ago?
You've got 12 posts on there already.
I know. I just went crazy on it yesterday. I literally spent
You're out of control.
yesterday. One of my Instagram followers reached out and said, you need to do this stuff. You need to post on there all the time." So I was freaking out and I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And then all those things just came to me in the day.
You can cross your social media though.
I don't know how to get the traffic from the TikTok to the podcast.
Right, right, right.
Do you?
You've got to do excerpts of it. Like the one with you with headphones on it is good. Um, what else do you want to talk about on this? There's tons of stuff we can talk about.
Well, I'm coming from a perspective because remember, my target audience are people who want to move here, preferably from
So
America.
okay, let's talk about that. So I get comments all the time, and you know I'm in a very public job, and I deal with a lot of people in public, both you know it professionally and personally. Is you know I'm quite out there,
Yeah.
outspoken. I'm in the public a lot. I get a lot of comments from people. Oh, why would you leave there to come here?
Yeah, for sure.
And New Zealand isn't what people think it is. And I'm not saying New Zealand's a bad country because it's not. It's gorgeous. It's lovely. I've got amazing friends there. But there's also besides New Zealand that people don't see. You know, that it's very competitive to live there,
Mhm.
incredibly competitive to get good jobs and stuff to
Mhm.
live there. There's not as much opportunity there as there is here. I feel.
Well,
Um,
you wouldn't have like a boat and a motorcycle and like all your toys and stuff here on a cop salary. Or
No, there's no way. I mean,
yeah.
but you know, you've got to think my salary's joint with my
Well, okay, I
wife's.
know, right, but like still, people who have those things here are not the middle class people. Like
Correct.
middle class people in New Hampshire, and I want to speak to New Hampshire. I don't want to generalize the whole country because each state is so different, but middle class people in New Hampshire can have these the extra perks of life, the extra stuff, the fun stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I agree with that, but I think there's more opportunity in America just sheerly because of the size of it, you know? Like I
Yeah.
worked at ski resorts when I came here, and there's more resorts in the state of New Hampshire than there is in New Zealand. You know, not including club
Oh,
fields, but commercial
yeah.
ones. So so when I worked my ass off, and I think the work ethic in New Zealand um, is second to none. I really, really do believe that. And when I came here with a work ethic and I enjoyed my job, that it was a no-brainer for me to end up running the show within a small amount of time,
Yeah.
without not necessarily experience, but I had experience from around the world, and that's very well rated over here. You know, I mean, education maybe as well, but certainly world experience was.
Because I have the free version of Zoom, it cut us off. So we're just gonna pick up where we left off right here.
We're talking about New Zealand isn't everything that it seems to be.
Okay, yeah. So all these people come up to you and they're like, "Why would you live in America instead of New
Right,
Zealand?
right, right.
What are you thinking?" And so what do you say?
So I mean I think that there's way more opportunity in America for a good, hardworking, good soul person here,
Yeah.
than there is in New Zealand. I mean, just by the sheer size of it, you know. Um, New Zealand's a beautiful country in terms of scenery and you know the lakes, the mountains, the ocean. It's lovely, but it's an island, and I'm not ragging on New Zealand because I love it, but it's small. Everyone knows everyone. And I tell people all the time, you can't be an asshole in New Zealand. People get to know you pretty damn quick, and it's very hard to escape a reputation. Very hard to escape a reputation, especially in Christchurch where we grew up.
I think I already have one here. A bad
No,
one.
no, no, you don't. Well, maybe I don't know, but in Christchurch is very small, and as you're learning, it's all about the school that you went to.
Hmm.
And I went to Kashmir. Kashmir was a great school, and I don't know what it is now. But if you didn't go to Christ College, you were definitely looked upon.
Yeah, now it's Christ College and St. Andrews. Yeah.
St Andrews, and the girls' schools would be Rangiruru and
St. Margaret's
St
and
Margaret's,
girls. I
St
mean, Girls
Bede's.
High and Boys High are the public schools, but they're still have a really good reputation. Just so you know, Kashmir was actually called Trashmere until very recently. Like when you were
It
there,
always was. Even when we were there, it was called Trashmere.
yeah. So now it's actually bursting at the seams, and it's considered one of the premier public schools. But yeah. Oh, do you want to know what's really interesting? I'd like for you to talk about your age bracket. Andrew, you, a lot of your friends, the person I interviewed yesterday, her husband is actually your age. And he's a Christchurch boy. He went to Hoswell. No, I think he went to Hill Morton. But you guys all left school in the fifth form. Or I don't know. You left school early. Did you leave school early?
No, I left in the seventh form. I went right through.
Oh, you did. Okay. But it
Yeah.
seems like a lot of people left school early back then.
There was tons of jobs. Jobs were easy. Jobs were well paying. If you went into the trades, I mean, the whole apprenticeship back in those days, the apprenticeship thing, like there was trade schools, but you would get an apprenticeship, you'd get a job as, say, a builder, and you'd be on the job getting paid as a builder, not a lot. And you would go to trade school as part of being a builder and doing a trade apprenticeship. The apprenticeships for electricians and all the trades and building and all that plumbing were really well sought after jobs. And now I don't know what it's like in New Zealand anymore, but over here you would go to a trade school and you do, I don't know, a couple of years of HVAC.
Can you hear this kid?
No.
It was like a kid outside my car screaming and yelling, and it's like I'm obviously on a Zoom call. Rude.
So the trade schools were different back then. So a lot of people would leave school. I had a friend that left I think he went right through, maybe. I don't remember. No, he went right through, and he went straight into being an airline mechanic in Air New Zealand, and has done very well for himself out of that. I had one of my smarty pants friends. Um, he left and joined the Air Force and did all sorts of trades works in the Air Force and associated. He's done very well for himself, and I can only think of like two people that went off to college to get degrees. So different, lots of trade stuff, but really well set up in New Zealand back in those days. I don't know what it is now,
I don't know so much for trades.
but the polytechnics back in those days were very well done.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. You think that just the sheer opportunity that America has is why Kiwis would choose to live there?
Um, it's a lot to live here. I
Mm.
mean, it's a huge thing. I mean, it was different for me because I was already living out of a suitcase and had been for several years.
Yeah.
Traveling around, I was doing seasonal work here and there, the ski industry. But I know a bunch of people that I work with that don't live in New Zealand. And in fact, out of my six closest friends, only three of them probably still live in New Zealand.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them have either departed, and out of that six, I think probably one of them's returned recently. But it's the great New Zealand migration overseas. But it's hard to live in America, especially on this side of the country. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, a 12-hour flight from LA or California or Washington or up there is different than a 30-hour odyssey to get home.
Yeah.
It's hugely different.
Yeah. California, I think, is more it would be less of a culture shock for someone moving from California to New Zealand than moving from New England to New Zealand.
I completely agree with that.
Yeah. Like the cost, so the climate, the architecture, the way houses are built, just kind of lifestyle.
But even the coast, having the geographical features like the ocean and the mountains and the deserts and all of that the same. Like California is the size of New Zealand,
Yeah.
um, in terms of landmass, but it's the same size. It's wild.
When I was moving here, did you think that, were you like, oh, she's gonna hate it or she's gonna love it? Not studying abroad when I moved here 3.5 years ago.
I don't think anyone had made any opinions about it. You
No,
knew what you were getting into a little bit. I mean, you've been
opinions,
there
but you're
several
saying
times,
not that many
but
times.
you'd been to New Zealand several times. You'd lived there in university,
Yeah, I mean, when I was 22 for the 6 months, and then I did come back and visit Andrew the following year for 2 weeks.
right?
And then in 2008 with you guys for Hannah's wedding. And
Yeah.
then I guess we came in 2011 or 12 with Annika as a baby.
And I think you talked about this earlier in a different show. Like people vacation in New Zealand and think it's the most wonderful place in the world. But that's not reality. That's not the reality of anywhere. Like here, you go to Costa Rica and suddenly you're ready to buy property, or you go to Florida and you're ready to move. But
Yeah.
that's not the reality of anything. It's like you're looking at this glossy magazine, but suddenly the cover is glossy and the inside is newsprint. You know what I mean? Like
No matter where you end up and settle, you're still going to have that daily grind. Like the daily,
absolutely.
you got to do dishes every day. You got to make dinner every day. You got to drive your kids around and have them roll their eyes at you in the car and tell you not to come into their sports game.
I remember us in Christchurch biking a lot to sports, to practices, and we just go do it ourselves.
Yeah.
Um, I think kids in New Zealand back in those days were very much more independent than they are these days. And
Well,
I've heard that through parents here.
yeah, well, there's probably like 16 kids on that team, and only there was 3 sets of parents. So there was a set of parents for one kid, another set of parents, and me. That's on a weekend. It's Saturday. And they're not at work.
Right.
So that's a weird culture thing, but it's hard to know if that's New Hampshire and our part of New Hampshire that we're from, or if it's
But I
America.
think it's also transport. Like you're living in a city, but here you lived in a rural area
So you wouldn't drop off and leave because the game would be half an hour away.
because there's no point, right? Like we take Max to Civil Air Patrol and it's 2 hours. There's no point going home, so we just sit there.
Are you allowed to watch?
I can if you want. I don't. I go and do other things. There's other
What?
things I can do.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think if the sport, I'd definitely go and watch. But when I was in Christchurch, when I lived in Christchurch, I would just bike everywhere.
That's a Kiwi
Literally
kid
bike
thing.
everywhere.
I know. That's like a lot of Kiwi kids do. And, gives you so much freedom. And my kids just won't get on a bike and go. It's ridiculous because Annika could get to school in like 5 minutes if she hopped on a bike, but it doesn't.
Like the bike racks at Kashmir High, they were huge, huge bike racks,
Hmm.
huge bike racks, and we'd all bike there. And the winters weren't as severe either, so you could even in the middle of winter, we'd still be biking there.
Oh yeah. I mean, Christ, the boys have to wear shorts to school all year round. They're not allowed to wear pants until they're upperclassmen because they have to build grit. They have to become strong men. So they have to wear shorts.
Yeah, I remember that. And
Yeah,
we'd bike and fall off on an icy morning, a frosty morning. But
that's
the weather was different too. So we would bike year round. And biking in Christchurch was freedom, man.
that's what I think. That's what I'm like, a bike could give you freedom. But you know what? She does have a bus card. Did you use the bus back then?
After school, we would take the bus into the city to meet mum.
Yeah.
Because both of our parents worked. So we'd take the bus to go and meet them. But then we got older and we'd just bike home, like high school. We would bike home.
Yeah.
And like as soon as we were at high school, we were biking home and we'd have an hour or two at home before mum got home.
Yeah. Like, I mean, my kids are home after school, but I wouldn't, I just can't imagine letting Annika at 13, 12 get on a city bus, any city bus in America without an adult. And I don't know.
At that age in New Zealand, back in the 80s, we were completely independent of our parents. Well, not completely, obviously. We needed them for clothes stuff, but like Saturday, we'd be on a bike and gone, and there would be packs of kids in Christchurch on bikes and just riding around doing our own thing.
It
And
might
I
have
think that probably
been that,
remains, but
but
I wouldn't do that here. I probably wouldn't let Max and Russ go out on a bike for the day without knowing. I mean, and now we're more reliant on cell phones than we were back when we were kids. Like we would um we would call someone and say, "Hi, Mrs. Whoever said it was okay that we can stay for lunch. Is it okay, Mum? Yeah, it's fine." And then we'd have phone boxes, and to
did
we
you?
used to tap the number,
Yeah.
so we'd get free phone calls from the phone box. Otherwise, you'd have to put in money. But it was a rotary phone,
Payphone?
and the rotary, yeah, it was a payphone,
Yeah.
and it was a rotary phone, so it worked. So you put your finger in nine and you run it around, and would count the clicks back and dial the number. So
Yeah.
if you're smart, you'd work out the clicks. Like if to dial nine, you'd click once. And to dial three, you click seven times. And if you tapped it right, you could get free phone calls anywhere in the country. And I was really good at it.
Wow. Stealing the phone line time.
Yeah, I was stealing the phone line from Telecom New Zealand. Thanks, Telecom New Zealand. Suckers.
I think they're out of business now, so don't worry. You
I
help.
think statute of limitations is long gone, but yeah, we stole a lot of phone calls from them when we were
Well, when
kids.
Andrew moved to America, somehow he got into like a debt collection thing with Telecom. I had like a file on it forever, Telecom Bay Corp. And actually, I think it was your cell phone, but because of the same birth date, same last name, and everything, it ended up becoming Andrew's debt. And then don't worry, I got it taken care of for you guys.
I don't think it was, but we still get mail for you here. Thanks.
Yeah. Is it like Macy?
I write on it, she died, and then cry on it a little bit and send it back. Put tears on it, She
Oh,
did.
yeah. Um, well, I've told them that I'm not in the country, but they just don't want to accept it. So I've met a ton of people my age who had to share phone lines as a kid. Like they would pick up the phone, but their neighbors would also have the phone. So a whole street of people would share the same phone line. Did that
Yeah, it was
probably?
called a party line, and our grandmother used to have that. I mean, I remember when our phone was like three, two, no, no, like five digits as a kid, and then they'd add a digit, and then they add a digit. Yeah,
Yeah, but so so the party line, but you guys didn't have that, but other people did.
not
But
that I remember. No.
yeah. So apparently Christchurch had their own phone lines, but out in like the farm rural parts, they had the party lines up until like the 90s.
Yeah. Hey, do you want to say hello to your sister-in-law, who's also your cousin? She's right here.
Hello. It's recorded, so
You've been-
Hi. Oh, we're not recording the video though. Dave's just making me do video. That's okay. I'm sitting in the car at
You gonna
Annika's.
say anything?
I just went for a run on the treadmill.
Oh, nice. I'm supposed to be going for a run on these streets, but I'm putting it off because the Christchurch Marathon is next week and I'm doing the half. But
When's your mum arrive?
she arrives Friday and the Christchurch thing is Sunday, the
Okay,
marathon.
next Friday. Okay.
Yeah. Andrew, I keep checking my phone because Andrew's trying to buy a bed today. Obviously not new, used for marketplace. And
Yeah.
he's sending me all, he has a weird Facebook account because he doesn't use it. So it's just like a weird person's face with a he actually the last name is Williams that he uses, his pseudonym. But he's like, I can't reach out to people and say I want to come pick up a bed with a creepy profile like this. So he sends me the things that he finds and then I message them. So I'm trying to he wants to get one today. The second bedroom in Akaroa still just has an air mattress. Any other burning desires that you want to mention? Tidbits.
So
Would you ever move back here?
yes and no.
Yeah.
I mean, like I'm 53 and I'm not looking for a new career. And like I'm kind of locked into what I'm doing right now because of my pension and stuff,
Yeah.
which is something I never thought of in New Zealand. You know, health insurance and stuff, which is a big part of being employed here. You know,
Yeah.
like the benefits like doing a pension, getting health insurance and all that.
Yeah.
Um, and that's a huge difference between New Zealand and America that I don't think a lot of people understand.
A lot of
It's
people
like,
here have health insurance. We don't.
right. But over here, if you don't have health insurance, you're going to get what you pay for. And in New
Oh,
Zealand, the same thing. You can have private health insurance as well, and
yeah.
you're going to get better health insurance, less waiting times and stuff.
Yeah.
But you're already paying for that with your taxes, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And
that's what a lot of people don't understand is the whole tax difference between America and New Zealand and how you pay things differently. Like the Accident Compensation Corporation. When I crashed a motorcycle in New Zealand, the ACC paid for my helmet, my leather jacket, and all of my hospital bills because
yeah.
part of my motorcycle registration went towards an ACC levy, so I was taxed for it already.
Someone told me the high petrol gas prices here also tax from that goes towards ACC. I don't know.
It's totally possible, but definitely I would be shocked if there wasn't a levy on the registration because I
Yeah.
remember vehicle registrations were expensive in New Zealand.
We're actually cheaper here than New Hampshire. Now,
Okay.
maybe back then, but right now, registration, like I'm trying to make a list of things that are cheaper here. The list ain't long, but registrations actually might be one of them. And also, um, this doesn't matter to you, and I don't do a lot, but getting your nails done, I think is cheaper here, maybe. That's what
You
people,
tell me I don't get
yeah. And
it.
oh, not having to tip, like you don't have to tip at restaurants, you don't have to tip the hairdresser, the nails, like, all the shit you have to tip for in America. You don't do any of that here. So that saves money, I guess. Well,
Tipping was completely foreign to me when I came here. Completely foreign.
yeah,
Um, like when I was fresh off the boat and I was working at ski resorts and I had no idea. I was blown away that I figured you'd have a beer or two and you tip afterwards.
yeah,
And people would give me a hard time about that and about not tipping on your first beer or whatever. And I figured you'd tip afterwards. And I didn't know really what a tip was about. And I think that Americans going to New Zealand don't, that's foreign to them, but understand that whole pay structure of like a waiter or a waitress is totally different too. You know,
yeah.
and I think that it's completely different and it's very cultural. Like, what do you get paid to be an hourly rate for a waitress here? A couple bucks an hour, absolute minimum
Exactly. And they're
wage.
getting like $25 here at a minimum. They're getting 25.
Right, but again, it's like in America, you pay for what you get. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Yeah.
like health insurance, you pay for what you get, or you get what you pay for. Either way around.
Yeah, for sure. Right?
You may want to edit that out.
See, that's the difference here. That is a very good point that you made. Like an American would be offended by that, but here people talk about everything just very loosey-goosey and open. There's no scaredness to talk about it, especially at their schools. So I kind of like that my kids are getting that exposure to learn from each other openly and freely.
Right? No, I understand that,
Yeah.
but it's like everything. We're all going through a transition right now here with politics, and no one's really sure. I don't think where we sort of are. Um, with everything. There's people very upset and there's people very happy and there's people in the middle that there's tons of questions. And I think that's the same worldwide, constantly.
You think even I feel like people here aren't feeling it like you are, like you guys are. You think they're
Very
on?
polarizing the politics in America right now.
Yeah.
Um, and you know me, I'm probably a little bit more moderate than I am left or right. I'm a little bit, my menu's more a la carte than it is like, price fix.
Yeah, like the people that I hear talking about it a lot are the Americans. For sure.
Yep.
And then people mention it kind of like in a joking way, but they're not emotional about it.
And you and I have had different views on politics over the years, but we can listen to each other and be respectful about it. And I think we're losing that a little bit here right now. But there's also the respect, like you need to listen to what I say, or else we're not going to be friends, or and that we can have different views, and that people are so polarized about it right now with the new government that it's not comfortable. It's not a comfortable subject. Does that make sense?
Oh, no. No, it doesn't seem like it's very comfortable there at all. But that's what I was wondering because even I was home in December and January, and there was still some heat because the election had happened and everything. But when I was just in New Hampshire, like seeing my friends and going places, it didn't seem to be an in-person issue. It's a media and a social media and an online issue and on TV and stuff. But it wasn't so much an issue like out and about, going here and there and everywhere. It wasn't, it was in my face. Is it now?
Until you turn on social media.
Right. So exactly, that's what I'm saying. It's all that stuff. It's the media stuff. And as I
Yeah.
was saying about joining like TikTok 2 days ago, to open up the app, and even though I'm just going on to create content and I follow no one, all of a sudden there's just videos coming up and like 5 minutes go by. I'm like, I just watched these videos. And then I was like, oh my gosh, a big part of the population is just sitting here and this is how they spend their free time instead of reading a book or taking a walk or cooking some whole food meals and stuff. They're on here just scrolling this garbage. And I mean, it really solidified this can't be for children, can't be using this. It's going to brain rot them.
And I don't disagree with that. I watch it purely for funnies. I like to laugh at stuff.
Yeah.
And it's wild how trained your algorithms become when you start spending a little bit more time on this video. You flick past this one, and you flick past that one.
Uh,
How in tune those algorithms are with your habits on on those videos.
so so this is why I don't see anything political on Instagram.
Right.
Like almost nothing political on Instagram. And it's probably because I don't engage with it. Right?
Like I don't like TikTok. I don't think I've ever liked a video or unliked it or whatever you do, but I watch it and I know that my algorithms change because I'll spend more time watching one video than I will another. And
Okay.
that will look at those hashtags or whatever it is to describe that video and send me more of those.
Yeah.
Um, and I've noticed too, if I try not to watch those, how long it takes to change that algorithm in my search. But there's social media that I think's the absolute devil, and you know what that is, that I will not allow in this house. And that's not
You think that's
me
worse
being
than
a heavy
TikTok?
hand.
Snapchat?
Pardon me?
Think Snapchat
Snapchat.
and TikTok?
Snapchat. Snapchat is the root of all evil in my mind. And because of my law enforcement background, it's the root of a lot of bullying. It's the root of a lot of back talk behind people and groups and stuff. And it's a lot of there's not a lot of consequence there because it goes away so soon. But there's also consequence for the victims because the feelings don't go away. The
Hmm.
the 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 what is it? The snap will be gone quickly, but the feelings remain, and a photo will last forever, and it's not good. And I'm really worried about kids with Snapchat,
Yeah.
because I just don't think people really understand it, and it's the root of a lot of evil in the schools here.
Well, and my other cop friends, they don't let their kids have it either. So,
Right.
yeah. Yeah. Um,
So I want to talk about something real quick
yeah.
that's totally different. And I was brought into a conversation about this. It's about law enforcement. And I had a conversation with the then Prime Minister John Key. I
Yeah,
was
hell yeah.
taken down to Boston.
Because
What's that?
we're gonna get kicked out again. So go.
Okay. It's drug trends. I mean, I warned John Key about 7 or 8 years ago about methamphetamine, or as New Zealand call it, P, and
Oh
how
yeah.
much it's ravaging our society over here, and how it was coming to New Zealand. And I've seen in the news over there, I still watch stuff, how much of an effect it's having on New Zealand. In New Zealand, you're only seeing the tip of the iceberg. I'm telling you that right now.
The meth is coming here or
I,
picking up.
I'm telling you right now. I mean, it's there. It's there more than you will realize. You're seeing the tip of the iceberg like we were 7 years ago. And if fentanyl starts coming in on those those same passages and those trafficking routes, New Zealand's in for a rough ride, like we were here. When we're getting 3 times the amount of people dying from overdoses than motor vehicle deaths, that's going to be rocking hard on a little country like New Zealand that is so easy to market to, you know?
Yeah.
It's like watching your little brother getting beaten up and you can do nothing about it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because someone just tried to get in a bunch of heroin or something, I think. I don't know. It got stopped at the border, but stuff definitely gets in here for sure.
But we're not seeing we don't see heroin anymore. It's all fentanyl.
Oh. And they don't prescribe opioids here like they do there. But do you think that will change?
I think that's already changed in America.
Yeah.
You know, the days of getting 30 in a prescription are done. Now you're getting 6. You know,
Uh,
and I'm trying to lobby pharmacists and hospitals in New Hampshire that give out prescriptions for opioids to give out Narcan as well.
oh, along with it, yeah.
Yeah, because why not?
I tried to get Valium for my dog here, and they gave me one pill to do her nails.
I'm I'm not surprised. The overprescribing here is done. I mean, it's very hard to get a prescription, you know.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. Well, I was talking to your cousin last week who's a doctor here, and so we were talking about different medications that they have here, and like prescribing is just a whole different ball game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Uh,
thought that you might be interested in that for your podcast.
well, I don't like to know that the meth phase is coming here. That's not good.
Well, I mean, like I told the Prime Minister years ago, be ready for it. The DEA here did a great job of knocking down precursors and home baked meth, but at the same time they're weak on the borders, and a whole lot of meth came into this country,
Yeah. I mean,
and it's affecting everyone. I mean, you would be blown away at the people that we find meth on here. We make more seizures for methamphetamine than we do for marijuana now.
oh, but don't you leave the marijuana people alone?
No, we see more meth.
Oh, you just actually see more meth.
Yeah,
Oh. You know, I don't know if my listeners know, but marijuana is not legal in New Zealand. Although
correct.
people have it. I think it's a really good climate to grow it. Um, well, at least some guy I met on the airplane from Coromandel, he said they grow a lot up there. But I don't know if they bother people for it or not. Well, we did see a drug bust right down the road from where we live. The kids were coming home from school. This was a few years ago, and like the police were there, and the gate was blown open, and the garage door was taken off. And Annika came home and she's like, I don't know, there's a lot of police there, and they had a lot of weeds hanging from the ceiling.
Oh dear.
And then we saw a new gate and a new fence put up, and I don't know whatever happened.
My computer went dead while I was chatting with Dave. However, he did leave us with this tidbit. Jacinda, who's the old Prime Minister of New Zealand, now lives in Boston or the Boston area. And Dave has reached out to her and invited her to his house for a barbecue, so he's still waiting on her response. I do hope you listen to this podcast while you're sitting in the car or taking a nice walk in nature. And as always, if you have any questions or anything particular you want us to discuss, please let me know. Comment, follow the podcast, follow the Instagram page, which is Moving to New Zealand Podcast. You can DM me your questions, you can post them in comments on the podcast. And my next guest will be another American who has lived in California and the East Coast. And so that will be interesting. And she has a really exciting story to share. So I hope to see you guys soon.